Tony. Thanks for joining us here at Blades. This store has been around for a couple of decades. I know you've been in the business for quite a bit. Best skateboarder in the world by the time you were a teenager, and then you went on and created all of these various companies. I wanted to start at the beginning with your love of skateboarding. You know, in one of your books you said skating is essential to your sense of self. What did you mean by that?
Well, for me, skating has always been my creative outlet, and it's really the place where I found the most peace and the most sort of self-confidence in what I was doing. And I just found it at an age when I was searching for an identity. You know, I was playing team sports, but I never felt like I fit in that well. I didn't like relying on the team necessarily for my own success. I didn't like that the team was relying on me for their success. And then when I found skating, I found this way of really expressing myself in something that was creative but also athletic. And I didn't really care that it wasn't that popular. You know, I felt like it gave me an identity that stood out apart from everyone else.
And would you say, you've also said your family was kind of a bit unconventional. I know your mother went to school in her late 40s and 50s, and all of that. Did that instill something in you that you could kind of do whatever you wanted to do?
I think it was just that my mom and dad supported what I was doing even though it was different. And that's what gave me the confidence to keep doing it. You know, I wasn't really looking at their career choices to inspire my own. But I did, you know, I thought it was cool that my mom went off to college to get her doctorate whenever she was in her 50s and 60s, and you know, just to prove to herself she could do it, and I thought that was very cool, and so I think that probably gave me a sense of that you have to follow your dream even if it's not something that is already proven.
There are a lot of pro skateboarders, of course, right? But you've really achieved kind of near idol status with your legions of fans. You know, first of all, what is that like?
It's strange. I mean, it's strange to be recognized for something that really I was chastised for as a kid. You know, even to this day, I think, do you really like this? Because, you know, we've been doing this for a very long time, and it wasn't cool back then, and a lot of it is still the same reasons and the same vibe of what we're doing. It's just that now it's much more embraced, much more accepted. I think that for me, it's exciting. I don't take it for granted ever.
What has been your most humbling moment?
Humbling for me and funny too was my son when he was like 5 years old. They had a project in class, write what your parents do for a living, write what your dad does, and like one kid says, my dad sells money. Another kid's like, my dad's figuring stuff out in Iraq. And then my son writes, I've never seen my dad do work. And when I look at it that way, I'm like, wow, he probably just thinks I just play around all day long. You know, I just ride my skateboard and I fly here and I do this. And that's pretty humbling when I think that I do work really hard.
Yeah.
You know, and his view of it is like, he just does whatever.
But you love what you do, and so that
I do, yeah,
too,
absolutely.
in a
Yeah.
different, you know, if you look at it through a different prism.
Yes.
You know. So, what is the most common question that you get from entrepreneurs who are starting out a business?
I think the most common question is how do you build a brand and how do you keep it true to your vision? And my best answer is that you make sure you have final approval over everything. You know, if someone wants to come in and take over your brand, you make sure that you still have the rights to what it is and how it's presented. Because if you sell that off completely, it's going to become something that you didn't want, but still with your name attached to it.
So, what is your best advice, best piece of advice for startups? If they remember, you know, nothing else, remember this.
My best advice is to keep control of your brand and to represent it well, and to hire people you implicitly trust. Know your strengths and your weaknesses, and to hire people you trust with those strengths that can balance out your weaknesses.